that this bill would have put more police on the street, would have locked up violent offenders so they never could get out again, locked up violent offenders so they never could get out again.
Keeping them behind bars does little to reduce crime, but it does a lot to tear apart families and communities. It's time to end the era of mass incarceration.
The first video clip that you just saw, that was Hillary Clinton first on C-SPAN in an interview back in 1994 talking about her husband's crime bill. The last few clips you saw, that was Hillary Clinton yesterday at Columbia University calling for an end to mass incarceration. A shifting position? Let's bring in our roundtable to discuss this, shall we? Along with John Bachman, Republican strategist Ford O'Connell joins us live, as does radio and television commentator Ellis Henican. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Hillary Clinton now calling for an end to mass incarceration. Ford, let's start with you. Is she calling for the end to a system that some would say she pushed to help build?
Well, yes, she did. Her husband made his mark by being tough on crime, and now she's running in the other direction. Let's understand why she's doing this. She's pandering to the black vote because she recognizes that she doesn't have the same fervor among black voters. You know, when she reaches the general election, she's going to wind up losing Florida and Ohio. This is about talking to a specific constituency, and right now she's talking to black voters.
And Ford, this also reminds me, too, back in 1994, this is after the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles in 1992, so there's another parallel there. And I remember Tipper Gore, this was when she was on her high horse about explicit lyrics. Ford.
Well, absolutely. Look, you're right, but this is what happens. What Hillary Clinton's going to say is, times have changed and I've changed. But again, this is political pandering, and she's being duplicitous. And the reason why she's being duplicitous is she says that we need to restore trust to the criminal justice system. The problem is the majority of Americans don't trust her. This is Hillary Clinton getting caught up in knots, but the bottom line is she's angling specifically for the black vote.
Well, she does have some new competition today. We just heard from Bernie Sanders. So let's go ahead and listen. We love the internet. It's a wonderful thing. Another clip, other than that Hillary Clinton, Clinton clip that surfaced yesterday, was this Bernie Sanders clip. Go ahead, Ford. I want to let you listen to this.
Hear me. My name is Rabbi Manny Shevitz. I remember when the Dodgers played the Yankees. What's so free about that free agency? I can't take that anymore. Okay, let me just make my point here. When it's good, it's good. If it doesn't feel right, just say no.
There is Rabbi Bernie Sanders from a 1999 movie, My Ex-Girlfriend's Wedding. Reception, I should clarify. I don't know, Ford, if you caught that or not, but Bernie Sanders has a way with words, whether it's on the big screen of Hollywood or today at his news conference. Do you think he'll really be able to push this conversation to the left, since a lot of folks are writing him off as a candidate?
I'm writing him off,
listen,
too. This is a faux primary unless Elizabeth Warren, the virtual candidate, jumps in. Look, Bernie Sanders is a statement candidate. He's polling at 5.6% in the polls. Hillary Clinton's polling at 62.2%. And she has a 50-point lead over the second place person, who's actually Elizabeth Warren. Look, Bernie Sanders is in there to make a statement about three things: trade, income inequality, and Wall Street. And that's his whole point. Progressives feel that if at least he gets in there, they can jerk Hillary a little bit more in their direction. But at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton is still the nominee, regardless of everything that's swirling around her, with the emails, with the foundation, and her flip-flopping on positions that made her husband respectable within the Democratic Party.
All right, we finally have Ellis Henican joining us now. I guess we worked out the kinks. So we want to get your comments real quickly in the few minutes that we have remaining. Let's go back to what Hillary Clinton said, if we could, real quickly. We don't have to run the soundbite, but she was talking, we ran a clip talking back from where she was talking back in 1994 about her husband, basically, his policies, wanting people to be incarcerated. Now, she's kind of shying away from that.
Saying something completely different today, Ellis. What's your take? Ford accusing her of flip-flopping. Of course, you might say that candidates are allowed to change their mind.
Well, first of all, there's been no mind change here. I do take it that Ford doesn't like Hillary, so I guess we can recognize that and try and judge it. Here's the reality, right?
Alice,
we have a criminal justice.
Alice, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you right now because we're having some audio issues. And as soon as we get those worked out, we'll go back to you. But I want to make sure that everybody hears what you're saying. Our apologies for that. Do we have it now? Okay, good. Ellis, I'm sorry. if you could go back to what you were saying before, I want to make sure our audience heard you. You were saying?
Miranda, I think that most rational people today believe that our sentencing guidelines are completely irrational and out of whack. And while one can hold two ideas at the same time, and let me suggest two that Hillary holds, that people who are really, really, really scary and dangerous ought to be put away for a long, long time, and a whole lot of other criminal defendants do not need these massive mandatory sentences that our federal system and state systems have imposed over the years. Smart people understand we can make distinctions in the criminal justice system. For instance, maybe nonviolent drug offenders don't need to be in jail so long.
I'm sorry. I know it's hard to do this, but we're running out of time. We want to bring both of you back, and I promise, Ellis, you'll be able to complete that thought. And welcome back to Newsmax. Now we're going to try this again. Let's bring in our round table. Ellis, I can't thank you enough for being so patient with us. Ellis Henican joined us, radio and television commentator. Also, Ford O'Connell, Republican strategist. Third time's a charm, right, guys? Ellis, you will finally get to complete that thought. Our apologies. Go ahead. Hillary Clinton,
It
go.
is live television, and that's what makes it fun. That's why we have live TV. So listen, it seems to me that I would like to add my voice to that of Ted Cruz, Newt Gingrich, the National Review magazine, and many people left and right, smart people, who recognize that our sentencing guidelines in our criminal justice system are wildly irrational. You can hold two ideas at the same time. You can think that really, really bad people ought to be put away for a long time, and that there are an awful lot of people being sent to jail for years and decades in our society that don't need to stay there so long. I think it's wonderful that Hillary is bringing up that debate. I understand you guys are slamming her for it.
Well,
but it's
I mean, Ellis, she can also say, we tried something, it didn't work. So now I need to say, you can say that she's, politicians like Scott Walker say can change their mind, but she needs to say, we tried this, it didn't work.
But it's not, what I'm saying, John, what I'm saying is that it is not a matter of changing her mind. It's a matter of saying that very, very bad people need to go to jail for a long time, and there's a whole lot of other people that we're keeping in jail for too long. And I'm just happy that people on the left and right, smart people, are beginning to recognize that. And I don't think I call it flip-flopping.
All right, well, let's also talk about somebody else who's facing...
here's my problem, Ellis.
Go ahead, Ford.
Let me say this, John. Criminal justice reform needs to be done. I fully agree with you. Bernie Carrick's been on Newsmax many times talking about this. My problem is it's Hillary Clinton who's saying it. Somebody who's untrustworthy and somebody who's pandering specifically to one group because she knows she needs them to win an election.
But there are other people besides Ford who say that she's being duplicit in this, Ellis.
No, Ford won't take a good idea from someone he hates. And by the way, Ford, the last person that Hillary Clinton needs to pander to is black voters. The Democrats, no matter who the nominee is, going to get about 98% of black votes. You guys can't get.
But that's the point. Now you're on a false equivalent. You're on percent. I'm talking about.
All right. We got more to talk about, guys. I want to move on because somebody else who's facing some heat right now for his take on criminal justice back when he was the mayor of Baltimore is Martin O'Malley. He was greeted by hecklers when he went out to the streets of Baltimore. Let's take a listen.
Governor, why are you here today? I just wanted to be present. There's a lot of pain in our city right now, a lot of people feeling very sad. And look, we got to come through this together. People are saying get out of here. They harken back. People have been very nice to me. It's actually, you got to be present in the middle of the pain, man.
You got to be present in the middle of the pain. David Simon, who was one of the co-creators of The Wire, my favorite TV show, he blasted Martin O'Malley.
I'm loving it. He's turned me on to the show. I'm actually watching all the reruns to it.
And David Simon, who knows the streets of Baltimore, he's a former reporter for the Baltimore Sun, is saying that it was Martin O'Malley who really pushed through a lot of these criminal justice reforms, which led to the very problems that are playing out on the streets today of Baltimore. Ellis, go ahead. What do you say?
I mean, that's just silly. I mean, you can come up with a better argument than that. The thing that caused the problems on the streets of Baltimore is that those people living in generations of dire poverty with no opportunities, with single families, with a criminal class that's dragging kids down. I mean, to blame this on Martin O'Malley is just silly. Come on, do better than that.
Well, Ford, what do you say?
I think that Martin O'Malley is going to have a lot to answer to because he was the mayor of Baltimore. At the same time, I do agree with Ellis that it was widespread institutional failure, not just his tough on crime policies, but understand that Martin O'Malley is only getting 1.6% in the polls, and the best thing that can be said about him as a presidential candidate is he's youthful and attractive. And he's not a woman, so therefore cast him aside because it's a faux primary.
Now imagine if they called, and that was from an article, a blog post for Ford we were talking about yesterday, but imagine if a female candidate was called youthful and attractive. We'd be talking about that as well. But before we let you guys go, for shame, right? For shame. Martin O'Malley could also be a candidate of tomorrow, considering his youthful, attractive looks. Let's move on. We want to talk about something other than politics.
Something a little lighter?
No, I don't think it's lighter.
Kind of in a heavy way?
Big boxing match coming up. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, a lot of stories going around here, but we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. Ellis, is a boxing match worth that much money in this country?
Well, listen, anything people will pay for is worth that amount of money. I got to tell you, though, I can't watch boxing matches anymore. I feel too bad for the fighters. It's the same way, honestly, I feel when I go to a strip joint. I just feel too bad for the performers, and I can't really enjoy it for what it's supposed to be.
All right, so we got this image of a sad Ellis Henican in the corner of a strip club feeling empathetic for the entertainers.
I mean, I don't want to look at it.
Ford, do you feel bad for the boxers? Ford, do you feel bad for the boxers considering they're making millions and millions of dollars?
Absolutely not. The bottom line is I've been waiting for this fight for 5 years, and Floyd Mayweather's been ducking Manny Pacquiao. The problem
he's had his domestic violence issues.
So who's your money on?
My money is unfortunately on Mayweather, but I hope Pacquiao knocks him out because Floyd Mayweather is the most arrogant fighter out there, and when this fight's over, he's not going to retire because he actually wants the white boxing community to know that he's at 50-0 while Rocky Marciano's at 49-0.
Gosh, Ellis. All right, you got last word, 10 seconds. Who's your man in this fight, Mayweather or Pacquiao?
I'll say this. I'll tell my friend Ford to enjoy the fight, and I'll see him at a strip joint someday soon. How about that?
That's quite an image that
and
we
you
all
can
have
tell
right
me,
now.
and you can explain to me.
We got to run, guys. Ford, you stick around, Ellis. We'll talk to you later. We're coming right back.